I sort of define deductive logic as anything which is, so you've got a logically true premise, anything which is true from a logic premise, therefore, I'm stuttering a bit because I'm a bit frantic. So, any conclusion that must be true has to come from a premise which is logically true. That's deductive. Induction is a middle point. It's if the premise is likely true, then the conclusion is likely true. And abductive is the last category, is the weakest. If the conclusion is weak or partially true, then the conclusion will be partially true.
Okay. How does that affect the scriptures?
I'm saying that you can't use deductive logic, the first category, i.e. you make the assumption that a premise is true and the conclusion must be true, from the text.
Why not?
Because the texts are ambiguous.
I know you'll say that, and I'm not. Okay, so you're saying it's ambiguous.
Yeah.
Okay, so when Jesus says, "Eat my flesh," okay, is that an ambiguous text?
Very much so.
Why? He explains what it is.
It's metaphorical.
No, okay, let me give you another example. When Jesus says, "Did you feed the poor?" Is that ambiguous?
It depends what theological sense it is.
No, it's not. The
It does.
text. I'm asking the text. Is the text ambiguous?
I can't read the text in his own
Oh, I
language.
can tell you can't read it. What do you
Just
mean
take
you
the
can't
English
read it?
text
Take
as
the
the English
English.
text.
Well, hold on.
Veins
Then
is just
Aristotle may be
dodgy.
wrong on his logic. You haven't read it in Greek
How do you know I don't know Greek?
because you just said you don't read Koine Greek.
Aristotle didn't write Koine Greek, he wrote classical Greek.
Yes, he did. Oh, okay, that's fine. Do you read classical Greek?
I can read a little bit of classical Greek.
How much? So if I gave you the Nicomachean ethics, or the ethics, or the dilemma of Aristotle in Greek, you'd be able to read it.
Because
So
Aristotle's
probably none of it.
probably none of it. Do you know what I studied?
Sorry?
Do you know what I studied?
What do you
I
study?
studied classics,
You study classics.
which is Greek
Well
and Latin
done.
literature
Well done.
and history.
Well done.
So by necessity, I have to know the languages.
Okay, I've never heard anyone that reads the classics that has to learn the Greek. Because my goddaughter is reading classics right now in Oxford, and she does not have to learn Greek.
Yeah, you do. You have to learn
No,
the
she
language.
doesn't.
You have to learn the classical language. Ultimately.
No, she doesn't.
Well, listen,
Okay,
listen.
she must be the only student there then.
right,
She
all
must
right.
be the only one that's not
All right,
doing
all
that.
right, all right. So, okay, we're going down the rabbit hole. It doesn't matter.
How can we get to logical conclusions through the text?
Oh, well, that's going back again now. Okay, look, the text says X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
You can draw conclusions from what the text says. Doesn't mean the text is true, but you can draw conclusions from what the text says. Whether you believe the text is true means you have to go behind the text. We say the text is simply, we say like any text that ever's been written. You make a judgment about it. You can't say, oh, this text is absolutely guaranteed to be true. We say that the Catholic Church is described in these texts as mere historical texts. We say that if we're in 2022, we can't know exactly what was going on in the year 22 because it's 2,000 years ago. We can't know for sure, but we have texts from the 1st century AD.
From a divinity.
We say they describe things that were going on in the 1st century AD. They describe a figure called Jesus, a bunch of his followers, and some things they wrote about him and about each other. One of the things they wrote is that he was going to establish a church, an ecclesia, a community, a new Israel. And that was going to be the institution within which his followers would dwell.
Okay, again, we've gone off.
This
How am I
church-
supposed
this
to?
church
How am I supposed
is
to?
established by him and exists for 2,000 years up to today. And that institution, which is empowered by him with the gift of knowing the truth, according to what it said in these texts from 2,000 years ago, that tells you that these texts are authentic and can be relied upon.
It doesn't.
That's how you know these texts
No,
are
it doesn't.
authentic.
It just tells you that they're.
Oh, really? What it says is, I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. In John 16, don't shake your head when
I
I'm
have to
quoting-
shake my
when
head.
I'm choking scripture.
I have to
when
shake
I'm
my
quoting
head.
scripture, quoting it directly, don't shake your head. Now, John 16:13, he says, the Spirit will lead you into all truth. Speaking to the apostles, it will lead them into all truth. That means, amongst other things, the texts they write will be the truth. Thus, we rely on these texts on the basis of what was told to them 2,000 years ago. The Holy Catholic Church validates the texts which were written after the Holy Catholic Church came into existence. That's how you can know they're true. And that's how you can know the Catholic faith is true.
But what if they were wrong?
Yes, thus you can say, well, it was 2,000 years ago. We actually can't know for sure these texts accurately describe what went on. And so we say, that is a fair point. What you can do then with Catholicism, you can look at the innumerable miracles that have occurred over the last 2,000 years. Now you might say, well, a miracle of the host turning to blood in the 10th century is no good to me, because I'm now in the 21st century. Well, you can go to look at, say for example, in the 20th century, the miracle of the Blessed Virgin in Fatima in 1917.
You're rambling.
Or
You're rambling.
is that
So
rambling?
Have you
No,
experienced
no,
a
is that
miracle?
rambling? It's not,
Yes.
is it? You're not,
Have you
how
experienced-
dare he say that? He asked me a question about how he could know what I'm saying is true about the Catholic faith, and I gave him explicit examples, and just for the sake of being polemical, he said you're rambling. It's pathetic.
no.
Let me carry on.
The religion, the religion.
Because I was not asking you directly. You know that.
Deep breaths.
I was.
Focus.
That's correct.
You shouldn't say I'm rambling when I'm not. I will ramble. There'll be times when I might ramble. That wasn't a ramble.
Yeah, but can
So,
we
for
interject
example,
though?
you might say, for
Can we
example,
interject in your conversation?
A place in Poland called Sokoka, and there, a host. You know what we believe about the host, right? It's the body and blood of Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, that turned to the flesh and blood of Christ in 1998. No, 2008, sorry. And that was examined by 2 universities. And it is flesh and bread at the same time. So there you have something that's known now. There are all the things that are known now. There we are. Go on.